So the landfall process of the very severe cyclonic storm Tauktae, which had hit Gujarat coast between Diu and Una, ended late on Monday night. The landfall forced the state government to evacuate more than 2 lakh people to safer places. Due to gusty winds, hundreds of trees were also uprooted in parts of Gujarat. Electricity was cut off, was disrupted due to the storm. The Ahmedabad airport, which had been shut on Monday evening, resumed operations this morning. 54 teams of the NDRF and the SDRF have been deployed for rescue operations. The Indian Army personnel have been put on standby also to face any eventuality. If there is a need, they too will be on the ground. And let's straight away tell you what's happening in Gujarat as well as in Maharashtra, which is where the maximum impact of the cyclone has been felt. Gopi Manyar is joining us from Virawala in Gujarat. We also have Pankaj Upadhyay with us from Mumbai. Gopi, पहले आप बताइए गुजरात में क्या हालत है अभी?
बिल्कुल देखिए, साइक्लोन जो है वो अब ऊना से लैंडफॉल करता हुआ अमरेली और भावनगर की साइड पहुंच चुका है और वहां पे सबसे ज्यादा तबाही मचाई है। और अमरेली का जो राजूला है वहां पे कल रात को जब मेरी बात हुई थी तो पूरी सड़कें जो बंद है, यानी सड़क के रास्ते पे जाना इम्पॉसिबल है। और साथ ही अगर बात की जाए भावनगर की तो वहाँ पे कुछ हवाएं जो थी वो 120 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार से दर्ज की गई है। दीव में जब लैंडफॉल किया था तब 130 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार से हवाएं चल रही थी। उसके बाद हवाएं काफ़ी तेज़ हो गई और इसका असर जो है वो आज भी अहमदाबाद, गांधीनगर, बनासकांठा, साबरकांठा यहाँ पे देखने मिलेगा, क्योंकि ये माना जा रहा था कि साइक्लोन जो है वो टूवर्ड सौराष्ट्र की ओर आगे बढ़ेगा, लेकिन वो सौराष्ट्र की ओर नहीं बल्कि सेंट्रल की ओर आगे बढ़ा है। यानी वो अमरेली, भावनगर, बोटाद, अहमदाबाद, गांधीनगर, साबरकांठा, बनासकांठा ऐसे होता हुआ गुजर रहा है, जो कि सबसे ज़्यादा तबाही मचा सकता है, क्योंकि अहमदाबाद, गांधीनगर ये सारे जो इलाके हैं, जो शहरी इलाके हैं, जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा इसका असर भी देखने मिल सकता है।
Okay, Gopi, please, stay on with us. So in Gujarat, you are seeing some reports of trees being uprooted, of power outages as well. What about Maharashtra? What about Mumbai? Pankaj, stay with us. I just want to quickly brief our viewers on how a total of 60 persons from barge P305 off the Mumbai coast have been rescued till 11 p.m. on May 17th. We've been getting you details of the rescue operation. 42 from the INS Kochi and 18 from offshore support vessel Energy Star in extremely challenging sea conditions due to Cyclone Tauktae. In the second search and rescue effort that's underway, the Gal Constructor, a barge with 137 persons on board, has been adrift off Kulaba Point due to engine trouble. The vessel has been approached by an emergency towing vessel, Water Lily, which has arrived in its vicinity for rendering assistance. In a separate effort, INS Kolkata has also rescued 2 survivors from the life raft of the vessel Varaprabha and has now joined INS Kochi in rescue operations. And let's get a live update on that. Pankaj Upadhyay is joining us from Mumbai. Pankaj, good morning. If you could get us the latest on the rescue operation that's underway currently in the seas, and also just sum up for us what's the kind of damage that's been reported in Mumbai so far.
Good morning, Akshita. So the latest message from the Indian Navy says that rescue efforts continued through the night by INS Kochi and INS Kolkata. Offshore support vessel Energy Star and great ship Ahilya have joined the effort. A total of 132, that's 132 personnel have been rescued so far in extremely challenging circumstances. So the rescue work is still on. As far as Mumbai is concerned, there is prediction of heavy rainfall at isolated places. It's raining in several suburban areas since the morning hours. There are thick dark black clouds all over, predicting perhaps there could be heavy rainfall till at least till the noon time today. And late in the night time, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray took a review meeting and he has ordered all the district collectors to speed up the relief work. Of course, many COVID centers, many vaccination centers will also be needing repair. As far as the COVID centers in Mumbai are concerned, they will be needing at least 10 days for repair. The biggest jumbo vaccination center in Mumbai, that is the one at BKC, will not be working. It will be needing repairs. 153 centers will be open as far as the first vaccine of Covishield is concerned, for specially abled and 60 plus age group is concerned, and around 13 for the second dose of Covaxin. 9 people already lost their lives. More than 480 complaints of trees falling, 17 complaints of short circuit as well. At least 9 people were injured as well. So today, basically, the focus of the government is going to be on the relief work, and the district collectors of the various coastal areas have been ordered to speed up the relief work.
All right, Pankaj, thank you for getting us that update. Thanks to Gopi also for telling us what's really happening in Gujarat. As the hours go by, we'll perhaps know exactly what kind of damage has been wreaked by the cyclone. So far, it definitely looks like it's minimal, particularly because the administration took all those precautionary steps of evacuating people in low-lying areas. Now, earlier it was always the east coast that would in fact witness more cyclones in a year. Scientists, however, now believe that it's the Arabian Sea that's fast becoming the hotbed of cyclones. Climatologists say that rising temperature could be turning the Arabian Sea into the new cyclone generator, thanks to climate change.
Cyclone Tauktae has pummeled India's western coast from Kerala and Tamil Nadu to Maharashtra and Gujarat. It is the first major cyclone to originate in the Arabian Sea, long considered peaceful this year. Since 1891, conventional wisdom in climatology put the average number of cyclones building in the North Indian Ocean at 5 a year. Only one of the 5 emerged in the Arabian Sea. However, in the past 3 to 4 years, Arabian Sea seems to have become a hotbed of cyclones. In 2018, while the Bay of Bengal maintained its average 4 cyclones a year, the Arabian Sea produced 3 cyclonic storms. In 2019, the Arabian Sea overtook the Bay of Bengal with 5 cyclones to 3. In 2020, the Bay of Bengal produced 3 cyclonic storms, while the Arabian Sea generated 2. In May end and early June, 3 cyclones had made news, 2 including Nisarga in the Arabian Sea and Amphan in the Bay of Bengal. Scientists attribute increased frequency of cyclones in the Arabian Sea to climate change. Climate scientist Hiroyuki Murakami in his study found that 64% of cyclones in the Arabian Sea in recent years were caused by climate change. Scientists studying cyclones have observed that the surface temperature in the Arabian Sea has been rising for about 40 years. Heat is food for cyclones. The temperature in the Bay of Bengal usually remains above 28 degrees Celsius. The Arabian Sea, in contrast, used to have temperature 1 to 2 degrees Celsius lower than that in the Bay of Bengal. Now the rise in temperature in the Arabian Sea has pushed it in the 30 to 31 degrees Celsius zone of India's west coast, especially in the midsection around Goa. Tauktae originated in the same region. If climate change keeps pushing sea surface temperatures in the Arabian Sea on the same pattern, its cyclonic equation with the Bay of Bengal may change forever. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, this has essentially been a double whammy for India. Cyclone Tauktae is threatening the country's COVID fight from Goa to Maharashtra and also now Gujarat. It's being feared that oxygen supply at hospitals may be hit because of the cyclone. The vaccination drive has already been halted in the state of Maharashtra for 24 hours. In Gujarat, also as a precautionary measure, several patients have been evacuated and moved to other hospitals.
When it rains, it pours. Another surge in the middle of a virus surge. Packing winds as high as 185 kilometers. Tauktae roared up before Monday night's landfall in Gujarat. The timing couldn't have been worse for India. Now the global epicenter of the pandemic, the country is faced with a new natural disaster.
कोविड सेंटर से 600 रुग्ण हमारे शिफ्ट किए गए हैं बीकेसी हमारा मुलुंड हमारा दहीसर से पूरे पेशेंट सुरक्षित जगह पे लेके गए हैं.
The storm has added to the challenges posed by the pandemic's deadly onslaught. More than 600 patients have been moved to safer government centers from various designated COVID facilities in Mumbai alone.
Administration really had the foresight of really removing all the patients from here, closing the entire vaccination center, and they have really been proved right. Look at the condition of the center right now. The water, the entire entrance is waterlogged. The covering that was there on not just on this entire path but also on the tents that you see, they have all been swept away. In fact, the barricades that you see here, the gutsy winds that the city has witnessed, that has really put all the barricades out.
Authorities in other coastal states also shifted many hospitalized COVID patients away from the cyclone's direct trajectory. But some on ventilator support could not be moved because of risk.
जो वेंटिलेटर पे है और जिसका ट्रांसफ़र शिफ्ट करना पॉसिबल नहीं है, तो मैंने जो डॉक्टर टीम ने उनको पूरा उसका सजेस्ट किया कि अगर हो पाया तो हम उसे यहाँ पे ही रखेंगे, क्योंकि बीच में उनको रास्ते में ट्रांसफ़र के दौरान कोई इश्यू ना हो जाए. तो ऐसा हमें कॉन्फिडेंस में लिया है, हमें सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी गई है एंड दे आर डूइंग एट लेवल बेस्ट एट देयर ओन.
Extra ambulances are on a standby and oxygen stocks reserved for any potential emergency.
This is the most severe cyclone that's going to make a landfall in Gujarat since the 1998 storm that caused heavy damage in the state. The authority, they are focused on preventing any disturb that could hit medical and critical care supply for COVID patients.
One of the key areas of attention is electricity. Backups are put in place in anticipation of outages in COVID hospitals of Saurashtra.
Arrangements have been made for COVID hospitals. Dual power supply arrangements have been done. Not only that, DG sets for all the hospitals in Saurashtra where patients are there.
The storm has already pummeled Goa, which struggled with an oxygen crisis in its top hospital. The opposition here tweeted videos and stills of flooded wards. But the government says their COVID facilities have dodged the bullet.
नहीं कुछ नहीं, साइक्लोन बहुत बड़ा था और इसी के वास्ते यानी जो बारिश का पानी आया था वो विंडोज से अंदर आ चुका, क्योंकि विंडोज ओपन थे, उसके रूफ का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आई हैड चेक्ड और मुझे लगता है मुझे वो 2 घंटे में पूरा क्लियर कर दिया है. ज़्यादा करके पानी विंडोज से ही अंदर आया था.
A monster storm and a monster virus together. A massive undertaking for the governments in states and at the center to maintain life-saving supplies for hospitals in this twin crisis. Bureau Report, India Today.
And in a big shift from previous set standards on COVID-19 treatment, the government has gone ahead and dropped plasma therapy from COVID-19 management guidelines, saying it was found to be not beneficial in reducing the progression to severe disease or death. The development came soon after a meeting of the National Task Force last week, wherein all members were in favour of removing the use of convalescent plasma from the guidelines, citing its ineffectiveness and also inappropriate use in several cases. Now let's also tell you about the COVID-19 situation in different states. First, focusing on Karnataka, which has one of the highest number of cases being reported in the country. It appears most governments now are finding it hard to follow the contact tracing, testing and tracking. And Karnataka also seems to have slowed down on that front. Nabila Jamal gets you this report.
Karnataka has been consistent with its rise in daily COVID cases. But the last few days have seen a sudden dip. Does that mean the lockdown has had a significant impact, or is the Karnataka government tracing and testing less? According to the state's recent health bulletin, Karnataka, which was testing 1.75 lakh a day, now tests just over 1 lakh a day. The state's positivity rate is still high at 27.84%. Mounting heat on the Yediyurappa government, former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has accused the government of falsely projecting a dip in COVID cases.
Both Government of India and State Government of Karnataka, they have failed miserably in controlling the corona disease. It has surpassed Maharashtra. Karnataka is number one. More than 41,000. I have written more than 10 letters after this second wave is started. But none of my letters is replied by the government of Karnataka.
The BBMP defends the fall in number of tests, saying people in Bangalore are hesitating to get tested. And since the lockdown, companies aren't getting their employees tested anymore. Karnataka has over 6 lakh active cases with 38,603 new infections and 476 fatalities reported in the last 24 hours. With Nabila Jamal in Bangalore, Bureau Report, India Today.
And here's another bizarre COVID statement. Bhopal BJP MP Sadhvi Pragya, who unfortunately has a reputation of making bizarre statements, has once again done so. She's claimed that she was not infected by COVID-19 because she regularly consumes gomuta, which is cow urine. If that wasn't enough, she then proclaimed that drinking cow urine can actually cure lung infection. Her bizarre remarks come at a time when the country has been reeling under the COVID second wave, and the last thing we need is for these kind of loose statements, not medically backed, not scientific statements. She had earlier proclaimed that chanting Hanuman Chalisa can cure COVID-19. Sadhvi Pragya isn't the sole politician who's made such bizarre claims. Last year, you had a union minister, Arjun Ram Meghwal, who claimed that Bhabiji Papad can actually cure COVID. Then you had BJP MLA Shiman Haripriya last year, who claimed that cow dung can cure the virus. Rest assured, none of this is true. Please follow what medical practitioners tell you about fighting COVID.
देशी गाय का पालन करिए। देशी गाय का गौमूत्र अगर हम लेते हैं तो उससे हमारे स्वाइनफ्लू का जो इन्फेक्शन है वो दूर होता है। मैं बहुत तकलीफ में हूँ, लेकिन मैं प्रतिदिन गौमूत्र लेती हूँ और इसलिए मुझे अभी कोरोना के लिए कोई औषधि नहीं लेनी पड़ रही है। ना ही मैं कोरोना ग्रस्त हूँ और ना ही ईश्वर मुझे करेगा कि मैं उस चीज का उस औषधि का उपयोग कर रही हूँ।
Here's the story of Tarun Kapala, a young NRI who recently returned from the United States and has turned to an ambulance driver to help COVID patients in Telangana. Here's the good news of the day.
For the ambulance? Free of cost. I charged free of cost, but then how much people were charging you?
It's 7,500.
7,500, approximately $100 to transport a COVID positive patient to a facility where he will be isolated.
30-year-old NRI Tarun Kapala is ferrying COVID-19 patients to hospitals. He does this using a makeshift ambulance and free of cost. From oxygen cylinders to oximeters, this ambulance caters to every need of a COVID patient. In the past 1 week, Tarun has transported 15 patients and fed over 200 people. And when he is not transporting patients, he distributes food and water to migrant laborers.
Today Today we distributed water for migrant laborers here at the Secunderabad railway station. We distributed water, we distributed buns, and we distributed other kinds of snacks to people here at Secunderabad.
This young man had recently quit his job in the US and returned to be with his ailing mother in Hyderabad. He got help from his US-based friend Dalton Divakaran, who helped him raise money for the ambulance.
After looking at one of my friends' mother who was asked about 35,000 rupees to be transported to the cemetery, I decided that we have to do something to help these people, these desperate people who are out here, patients who are infected with COVID-19 and other people outside. We decided to basically help people by getting an ambulance.
Tarun's typical day starts early in the morning and ends at midnight, and even beyond, depending on the emergency and SOS calls he receives. Bureau Report.